Two separate investigations going on here today. The Frederick County Sheriff's Office will be investigating the homicide. The Maryland Attorney General's AGs Office will be investigating the officer or deputies involved shooting. I'll now turn it over to Sheriff Chuck Jenkins.
Good morning. First, let me emphasize again, this is a parallel investigation with the Attorney General's office, and I will tell you it's been a smooth transition as they've gotten here on the scene fairly quickly. We've turned everything over to them as we should. So also want to mention this is a very large crime scene, a pretty horrific crime scene. So we're limited to what we can answer. It's early in the investigation. We have a long way to go with it. So at about 2:10 this morning, the Sheriff's Office received a call for a stabbing at 5804 Howler Place with comments by the caller that the suspect was attacking her parents. Deputies responded and on arrival found a female adult victim inside the home with apparent stab wounds. An adult male was also found outside the home down the street from the residence. So now we have an expanded crime scene. So information was obtained of the description of the suspect we were looking for, possibly on foot in the area. As the adult victims were being treated by ambulance personnel, deputies located the suspect, ultimately leading to the officer-involved shooting. So both adult victims were transported. The adult male, believed to be the father of the deceased, was pronounced dead, and the adult female will be released with what we were termed superficial injuries. So at this point, that is all I'll comment to is actually the investigation of the crime inside the home, the homicide. The rest will be investigated by the Attorney General's office. So I'll defer now to their spokesperson.
Good morning. As Todd said, my name is Thomas, Thomas, Lester, Lestr. I'm a spokesperson with the Independent Investigations Division at the Maryland Office of the Attorney General. As of October of last year, the Attorney General's office is in charge of investigating all fatal police incidents that occur across the state. This morning, the Frederick County Sheriff's Office notified our office of a deputy-involved shooting. Our investigators and crime scene technicians from the Maryland State Police are on scene, currently gathering evidence. Our role in this investigation will be strictly focused on the police-involved incident that occurred this morning. What we will do is release the decedent's information, which I can tell you so far preliminarily he is an adult male. We will release his full identity once we're able to make next of kin. The involved deputies will be identified within 48 hours. We do know that some portion of this incident was captured on body cam. Office is in the process of reviewing that body cam footage, and we'll make that available within 14 days pending some initial steps in our investigation are complete to ensure that the release of that evidence doesn't tamper our investigation. Long term, what you're looking at from the Attorney General's office is that we're going to gather all the facts, what happened and what led up to the deputies discharging their weapon. Once we gather all those informations, we'll put together a report. We'll forward that report to the Frederick County State's Attorney's Office. Frederick County State's Attorney's Office will review that evidence and make an ultimate final decision on the officer's actions. Are there any questions for the Attorney General's office? Okay.
A female we believe to be the daughter of the parents made the call, basically saying there was a stabbing and that her brother was attacking her parents. Her brother, yes. She identified the decedent as her brother. Yes.
Are you guys able to confirm that it was the parents? Because you're using the word believed to be.
Well, we're almost there. I will say yes. Every indication is at this point, yes.
Sheriff, the daughter wasn't harmed in any way?
To my knowledge, no. She suffered no injuries. The father is deceased, yes. The mother was also stabbed, and she was transported to shock trauma, where we've heard now that the injuries were superficial, which is good news, great news.
Have you all had to come back to this house earlier? Have you had to come to this house in the past?
No previous calls for service here, no.
Sheriff, do we know physically where they were stabbed and where in the home?
No, I can't. Well, let me just say this. Inside the home was a very broad crime scene, pretty much throughout the house, upstairs, into the downstairs. I will tell you that. So I don't know exactly where they were stabbed on the body.
Sheriff, just to be clear, were they all related?
Yes, they were all related.
All
As far as we know, yes. And again, early in the investigation, we're still putting pieces together, but yes, we believe they were all related.
Did I hear you say that the father was stabbed inside though?
Don't know. I'm not going to comment. We do believe that at least he was stabbed somewhere in the home, and it may have gone outside. We're just not sure. Again, please understand, early in the investigation, a lot of evidence you have to collect and put together.
It's an adult male. He's not in his teens, but we're not releasing his age and name at this time. So preliminarily what we know is that what we believe is that he was armed. We know that a knife was recovered at the scene. We cannot pinpoint exactly if that was the weapon used. That's something that our investigators will look to determine.
No other weapons?
So far, what I can confirm, what I know is that the knife was recovered on scene.
Do we know, sir, how many shots were fired?
We know multiple rounds were fired, but as far as the total number account, that's still something that we're gathering that the crime scene techs are reviewing now.
Any idea if the suspect came at the officers with the weapon or how that went down?
Not exactly, not at this time, Maureen. It's something we're going to look into and review. Hopefully the body cam footage will be able to tell us a little bit of what exactly transpired leading up to the officers discharging their weapon. Yes, ma'am. So this is a routine investigation anytime someone dies involving the police in the state.
Can you confirm what time the police involved shooting was? And the call was at 2:12 or whatever the suspect said. Can you confirm what time the shooting was?
It happened shortly thereafter. I don't have it somewhere around, we'll say approximately 2:20 a.m.
So does that mean that officers arrived on scene and it kind of escalated that we tried to have the suspect stop and then we didn't?
It's too early to speculate on exactly what transpired between there. That's something that we hope to gather in the interview process to know exactly what the officers, what they, encountered prior to discharging their weapons.
And just to be clear, no reason to think anyone else is in danger. Is this a shut situation, so to speak?
Not at all. There's no reason to believe that anybody else is at risk or anybody's safety is at risk in this community. No.
Sheriff, how far from the house where the crime took place did your officers come upon the suspect?
I'm not exactly sure. I was only at a part of the crime scene, so I don't know that. But to go to your question, so you have to think about this. You have a number of deputies responding. You have deputies going to the house first. They're taking care of the wounds on the adult victims. Other deputies coming in. My understanding, they encountered the suspect based on the description they had. So, again, a lot of moving parts here, and it's all happening really quickly.
You mentioned body cam footage that you have. When might that be released?
Typically, we try to release it within 14 days. I will tell you that sometimes that can be extended if we're not able to complete witness interviews in time to get that out.
Sheriff, can you speak just briefly to threat that an officer or officers face when going against a knife as compared to a firearm?
Oftentimes law enforcement are faced with situations with people that have, knives, bladed objects, and it's just as dangerous. Matter of fact, the rule of thumb is anywhere within 21 feet, typically the person with a knife can get to you before you can draw a gun and fire. So again, the AG is going to come out with the information as to exactly what happened when the shooting occurred. But again, just as much risk with a knife as a gun. Any other questions? And again, I'm sure we'll have updated briefings maybe sometime later today or when the AG decides they have more information.
We'll issue a release later this afternoon with some preliminary